welcome to Kalkine's Daily Trending News. Now, too many people in Canada don't have access to housing that they can afford and meets their needs. To get a better understanding of housing supply and demand, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation reports on how much housing is needed by 2030 and looks at overall affordability for the entire housing system in Canada. The report says to reach an adequate level of affordability, we need to increase housing supply, but by how much? Well, they've decided to update last year's estimate of how much housing supply is needed if they're going to reach the target set out in last year's report. Levels of affordability last seen around 2004. Last year, they estimated that an additional 3.5 million housing units beyond what was projected would be built anyway under their business-as-usual scenario, which would be needed by 2030 to reach this affordability target. Those 3.5 million additional units are what they call the housing supply gap. This year, in their baseline economic and demographic scenario, they're still projecting 3.5 million additional housing units to be needed. However, the size of the supply gap has changed across provinces. In some, like Ontario, lower projected growth in income per household will lower demand for housing. In others, like Quebec and Alberta, they project growth in incomes will rise proportionately more. As a result, more housing will be needed. Immigration to Canada is currently at higher levels than forecasted. Still, they project that the number of households in the country won't be significantly higher in 2030 than last year's projection. Baseline projection shows population growth falling back after the current policy ends in 2025. Well, that's the latest in Kalkine's Daily Trending News. I'm